I'm Lingwall. I got to ride the Gilson Fly today for Board Insiders.
Board Insiders, real riders, real reviews.
Does best obviously in powder. This is like an obvious powder shape. The nose, the swallow tail, and then you get all crazy when you get to the base.
Interesting thing about the Gilson boards is this 3D profiling they have on the bottom. They're going off of a little bit of like boat hole technology or like water dynamics, and what it is there's two 3D raised bases right here, kind of like two skis set down underneath the snowboard. So there's this 4-inch channel down the middle of that. What that does is funnel snow down the center of the board for extra lift, and also makes it so it's like a 3D base, so you have that catch-free ride when you're not in the POW, when you're in those connector groomers. The board is pretty much flat from right here at the beginning of the swallow all the way to about 4 inches before your inserts, and then the board cambers down for about 5 inches in a dramatic camber, and then right at about your second to last insert hole, it's got this big old flat kicked up early rise right after this dramatic camber under your front foot. The back end of this board being flat is just a really nice platform to always be on. You're not riding it on the nose too much. The nose is just more to keep you from sinking in and out of the snow.
The flex is pretty stiff. You can't get it to load really far, but what you do get to load comes snapping back in a really snappy, reactive way.
If I wanted more lift on the nose, I would put more weight on my front foot, and it would reverse camber it more. It would push on right before that hinge point and bring the nose up 3 or 4 more inches by leaning forward versus leaning back. So it's kind of bass-ackwards of the way you think of a powder board.
We got some fresh snow overnight, but it was kind of wet, heavy snow. It was definitely some fresh snow though. It was only about 1 inch or 2. This board made that inch or 2 feel like 10 inches.
It's really fast edge to edge. The flex in the tail with the swallowtail obviously cut away makes it really fun to ride that back leg and steer around on these points, because they're a little more flexy since that bit of snowboard is gone in between here, which is fun for actually popping off of too. These things become 2 little springs, and it made it a little bit more flexy back here than it is up here.
It is definitely fun to do some big Euro carves on. I got it to where I could go all the way around and come back down like a 360 turn.
But when you get on a rail, that swallowtail gives right at the end of your turn, and then it snaps back and sends you back into your other edge. So it was like a Euro to Euro was just super phenomenally easy. It holds enough energy in the board that you can literally go from flat ground, pop up over a 4-foot tree, so it retains a lot of snap. Nollies on this board were really fun too. I was going down the groomers and I'd lean on the front foot, peel up the back, and it would just like, it was like a snake. It would just peel away and whip back down.
This board trucks. It feels like 4x4. It's not fast, but it goes. You can just sit there and truck through a flat area and just float right through it, because the thing is not burying itself, you know? You won't have that moment where you tomahawk on the flat and have to walk out, because it kind of just drives through at a nice even tempo.
One of the main points of this board that I definitely felt is it has a top speed. It's like 3/4 speed is its top speed. It never really gets up to that super, oh my God, I'm going so fast, I'm almost scared. It never gets there. But at the same time, those boards that speed up a lot tend to slow down a lot once you get into those mellow areas. This one just maintained a even keeled speed. It was like a constant 3/4 speed everywhere you went.
You know, it's a trade-off. If you're kind of like a old school soul surfer, you're really gonna want this one in your quiver. If you're one of these new school guys that wants to go 1,000,000 miles an hour, maybe stay away.
It's a phenomenal surfy feeling you don't get from another flat-based board. I gave this board a shred credit of a 96, because literally if you're in perfect POW on those great days, which is when you should be riding POW, this board does everything it was intended to do plus some.
I gave it a 92 because it's a really fun and well-made board, and it is so much fun to charge with it and take some nice fat turns and ride through the trees.
I give this a 95. It's a quiver board, but it does everything that this quiver board should do really, really well. And the company's on to some interesting ideas. They're very innovative, and it's gonna go far, I think.
For the latest snowboard reviews, check out boardinsiders.com.